Well, hello, sixth graders. You're probably wondering, what on earth are we doing watching video notes in language arts? That is totally a science thing. Well, because you have a student teacher who is in both the science and language arts room, we are going to bring science and language arts together. Well, at least for the video notes part. So, tonight we're going to look at, start looking at the 6 major forms of poetry. There are 6 that we're going to cover as a class. We're going to cover concrete poems, haiku poems, limerick, narrative, lyric, and free verse poems. So you're going to have 2 sets of video notes. There are going to be video notes over the first 3 types of poems, and then video notes over the last 3. That way you're not trying to take them all at the same time. So you should have this form shared with you through Doctopus, so you guys can go ahead and pull this form up, and then we're going to go over to the literature books, which you guys probably haven't used a whole lot yet, and you don't have to pull yours out because I have it pulled up here for you all to read. Would you look at that? Look at me go. So, on that note, I'm going to start reading for you from this here, or from the book. This is in the analyzing. This is in the poetry unit, unit 4, and this is in the analyzing structure and theme. So today in class we talked about lines and stanzas, and you got a chance to do the paint and chip poetry a little bit. So now we're going to put all of that information to good use. So we're actually going to start over here at forms of poetry. Forms of poetry. Poetry comes in many different forms. Following are some of the common forms of poetry which you will explore in this unit. So we're going to skip narrative and lyric, and we're going to skip down here to concrete. A concrete poem is shaped to look like its object. The poet arranges the lines to create a picture on the page. So, on your form that you have over here, we are going to type in what a concrete poem was. And if you'll remember, a concrete poem is a poem that is shaped to look like its subject. So, poem that is shaped to look like its subject. And then it said that the poet arranges the lines to create a picture on the page. The poet arranges the lines to create a picture on the page. And I'm going to bold this just so it kind of stands out to me. Concrete poem. Maybe I'll just bold. There we go. Concrete poems. So, we have what that is now. So now you're probably wondering, what is all this free space about? Well, this free space is going to be for you to give me an example of a concrete poem that you will write on your own. But I'm going to read you, or kind of show you what some examples are of concrete poems. So this is the concrete cat. So you can kind of see how this poem is not a real poem per se, but it has these these words come together to make this picture. So we have the ears and eyes, and it literally says ear, ear, eye, whisker, 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 mouth. Stripe, 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 paw, 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 paw. Mouse. Ooh. Notice how the mouth is upside down? Dead mouse. Tail. Dish, dish. The dish it's eating out of. Litter box, litter box. So, this is kind of more of an unconventional kind of poem, but it is still a type of poetry. It doesn't rhyme, which is okay. Not all poetry has to rhyme. It can not make any sense, like this one can, or it can have the rhyme schemes that we talked about. So in this case, it doesn't rhyme. It's just a bunch of words that come together to form a picture. So other examples of this is panda. Airplanes. A click, a patter, a whoosh to roar, a flick to shudder, a shudder, a push to soar. The nose held high, the wings steady, the plane is ready to touch the sky. So, poem. Here's another cat. That's a big one. Ooh. If we just stopped faking, this world would be ours taking. Wait, no, ours for the taking. We shake for the sake of a quaking heart, but mistake the raking darts for every part. So this one you can see, this one rhymes a little bit. This one has more of a structure, like a structure to it than what the cat one did that I showed you. So what you need to do now is you can pause this video and you'll create your concrete poem. So now that you've written your concrete poem, we're going to move on to haiku. And you guys probably are all familiar with haikus. You've heard about them before, but I'm going to read for you anyway. So a haiku is a Japanese form of poetry about nature made up of 3 lines. So, Japanese poem about nature made up of 3 lines. The first and third lines have 5 syllables each. The second line has 7 syllables. The first line has 5 syllables. The second line has 7 syllables. And the third line has 5 syllables. So, a haiku poem. They're real short, but they're very precise. So, down here, haiku poem. Haiku. Over the wintry forest winds howl in a rage with no leaves to blow. So if you count the syllables, over the wintry is 5 syllables. Forest winds howl in a rage. Forest winds howl in a rage is 7, and with no leaves to blow is 5. So now you need to pause the video and write your own haiku poem. These poems, remember, can be over anything you want to be. They don't have to be over anything specific. Right now it's just for you to be able to create an example for yourself. Alright, now that you have your haiku poem, we're going to move into limerick poems. And I think limerick poems are kind of fun. So, a limerick is a humorous, rhyming, 5-line poem with a specific rhythm and pattern of rhyme. Okay. Humorous. Oops, I spelled humorous really wrong. I spelled it like the bone, kind of. Humorous, 5-lined poem. Oops, that's not right. Rhyming 5-line poem with a specific rhyme and pattern of rhyme. I'm going to add rhyming in here. Rhyming poem with a specific, and see, I forgot already. I'm so bad. Specific rhyme, or specific rhythm and pattern of rhyme. Specific rhythm and pattern of rhyme. So let's read a limerick poem. Oh, I was going to add a little extra information here. Limerick poems can kind of vary a little bit on the set specific pattern of rhyme that they have. But normally you count syllables when you do limericks, again, like you did with the haiku. So for you guys, I want you to work on limerick poems that have the first and second lines have 8 syllables. The third and fourth line have 6 syllables. And the fifth line has 8 syllables. That's what I want you to focus on. So let's go read a poem. Limerick. There was a young fellow named Hall who fell in the spring in the fall. 'Twould have been a sad thing if he died in the spring, but he didn't. He died in the fall. So, I mean, it's kind of funny, and it has a set scheme. So there was a young fellow named Hall, has 8, who fell in the spring in the fall, has 8. 'Twould have been a sad thing, is 6, if he died in the spring, 6, but he didn't. He died in the fall. But he didn't. He died in the fall. That one has 9. Okay. Last line has 9. Fifth line has 9, not 8. I apologize. Okay. Limerick poems. So, I want you to practice your limerick poems too. Remember, they need to rhyme. And they need to do 5 lines, they need to rhyme and have the set syllables that are in here. So pause the video and then go ahead and write your limerick poem. So now that you've written your concrete poem, your haiku poem, and your limerick poem, that is the end of this set of video notes. So make sure you have your Chromebook charged up and ready to go tomorrow, because I'll pull some sticks to, Mrs. Doxy and I will pull sticks to have you guys share some of your poems with us. For the concrete poem, I know it's kind of difficult to do on your Chromebooks. If you don't want to do it on your Chromebook, but would rather do it on paper, that's fine. You don't have to do it on your Chromebooks. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow at school.